Hey, Orange One here. So in this video, I wanted to show you a couple legit ways to make money. There's some ways to get money faster than what I'm going to show you, but these are what people consider to be like not cheesy or exploits. So I'm going to go over basically how you mine at first, because in the early game you really do need to do some mining to get some cash if you don't want to do anything cheesy. Then once you've got that going, I'm going to talk a little bit about getting your industry going, because I think that's a very reliable way of getting some good money in the early to mid game. And then also I'll talk a little bit about bounty hunting, slavery, and when you've actually got your full-on base going, how you can really get some money. Because if you know what you're doing, you can be going into a town with hundreds of thousands of cats worth of goods. But it all starts off with these mines right here. This doesn't look like a mine, you can or a mineable asset, but this right here is a copper resource. So I got right here, if I want him to mine on this, I just right click on that and he'll start mining it. And when this progress bar gets all the way to full, they'll mine some copper. I would recommend going for copper over iron, because copper is worth, I think it's 180 cats, and iron is worth 90. So this takes a while, so ideally you would assign 2 people to this. So this resource right here can be mined by 2 people at once, and then you can send 1 person in to go trade when you've gotten a good amount. But if I look over here, that is another copper resource, and it actually looks like a rock, and it can only be mined by 1 worker. Let's see, if I also look over here, I have somebody else at another city. Yeah, they're over here, and there is a iron resource. So I could have them mine for iron. Quality is kind of important, because you get the resources faster. But this is not a great resource, A, because it's iron, and B, because only 1 person can work on it. So keep that in mind. The next thing I wanted to talk about was, once you've mined and you've gotten a good amount of cash, and you've maybe got like 2-3 people, I would recommend buying a house. I have a whole video on how to get this set up like this, but basically what I like to do at least is buy raw resources from merchants and then use those raw resources to produce some goods. So if I look here, I have a leather crafting station. I've got some cloth. I need some actual leather there. But what I typically start off with is, after I've gotten some research done and I've got the clothing bench, you can go ahead and make some clothes with that bench. So if you click on Q, I believe this clothing bench right here, I don't know if the cargo pants is available by default, but I know you can make a hagelmust, which is it's a pretty good piece of clothing if you're in the desert, and B, it sells for a good amount of cats as well. So if I look here at this item, it sells for 175 if it's just standard. And if you get people doing this for a while, they're gonna make stuff that's better than just standard. So if I wanted to get that industry going, I need to first buy the raw materials from a place like this. I think I may have bugged this out in my game. I think I did some cheesy things and stole from this store, so they may not have... Oh no, actually they are here. Okay, good. So if I wanted to get that industry going, I would talk to this person, and I can buy fabrics for 60 cats a piece. And then I can assign this guy to craft by right clicking on it and holding down shift. So now he's gonna be working on that. I'm gonna do Tagglemust though, because those take 1 hour to make, so they get made really fast too, which is a nice thing to keep in mind. And then you can sell them for a good amount more money. This right here takes 2 hours, so it takes a little bit longer, but it is also worth more. I don't know if it uses more ingredients though. No, I think it just uses 1. So yeah, if you get that clothing industry going, you can get a good amount of cash coming in through that. You can also then, when you can afford it, you can upgrade and make leather armor, which is really nice. I think traders leathers are available by default, but the mercenary leather, you have to buy the blueprint, which I would highly recommend. There's some blueprints that will make you a lot more money and it will be better armor. So like the mercenary leather armor isn't really worth that much more. It's comparable to the trader's leathers, but it's way better protection. And you kind of want to be making some of this armor early on anyways, so I would get that blueprint if you can. Speaking of which, I should talk a little bit about blueprints. If I wanted a blueprint for something, I can't get armor from like a farm shop. Usually you have to buy it from a special shop. So this right here is like an armory shop. So if I wanted to get some armor, I could go there. And I believe that, I don't think this place has a weaponsmith. A weaponsmith is really, really useful as well. So this guy right here, if I talk to them, this really depends on where you're at, what's available to you. But I can go ahead and get some armor blueprints from this guy, like the mercenary leather armor. So although it's a leather armor, you can get this blueprint from this guy right here. I would also recommend doing the same thing with weapons if you can, because you can make quite a bit of money with weapons. My favorite weapon to make, once I get I don't have a weapon works bench right here in this place, but I'll go ahead and go to my city to show you the one that I really, really like. The blueprint that for me has been just an insane amount of money. So if I go onto my weapon workshop, the Desert Saber is really, really nice. It's worth a lot. This is upgraded, so it's gonna be worth more than the basic one. But the Desert Saber is going, like if I look at the Desert Saber Katoon number 1, worth 1,900. If I just look at like a Hold Saber, which I think is what you get by default, worth like half as much. Same materials. I think it's a similar amount of time. Actually no, it takes twice as much time. But it's a better weapon, so you can get a lot of good weapons from this stuff as well while making money. And if I look over here, I've already got a stockpile of these things, and I've got some armor that's being made as well. So yeah, basically once you get those people trained up, they'll start making higher quality gear, which will get you more money for that said gear. And so it's kind of an investment. You could go the route of making like grog or sake or rum, but I really recommend going for weapons and armor as soon as possible, because then you'll be able to make money later on in the game. It's more of like an investment, and you get really good gear from it as well. And it's also kind of cool to have your own blacksmiths, even though their animation, they aren't actually hammering anything. You know, it's Kenshi. It's still kind of bizarre and beautiful in its own way. So also, yeah, the last thing I wanted to kind of talk about was bounty hunting and slavery. So if I go ahead and look at, I think near Tuner there was somebody that was wandering around with a bounty. I might make a cut here and see if I can find them. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So I haven't found that guy that with the bounty on it, but I did want to talk about wild animals. You can hunt them and kill them for their skins and their meat, so it's a good source of food, free food and leather. But typically the animals will wander in pretty large groups, so you're gonna probably not be able to take them on right away, but you might be able to take on a few stragglers from time to time and get some really good ingredients for making more armor, because leather, you can tan some of the leather with the tanning bench, and you can also just sell it for a decent amount of money. Oh look, these skimmers are actually gonna get involved probably. I don't think we're going to actually be able to get that Garu, unfortunately. Or maybe we will. Okay, well let's see if we can get this Garu. It looks like it's coming to us. Sounds good to me. I just wanted to show you how you get leather from an animal. Speed this up a little bit. So basically if you just right click on them, and if you just take one out, the animal will die. Like you probably noticed that it was bleeding out and now it's dead. We've harvested those skins. Each one of those sell for 240, and you can cook the meat as well and sell that, which is pretty nice. Amount of money in the early game just for fighting something. So if you can get stragglers, that's always good. If you fight the whole group, you're gonna have a hard time in the early game. Let's go ahead and see if I can find a bounty, and I'll show you what I like to do with the bounties. Okay, so that took me a little bit longer than I thought it would, but I found a group here of just outlaw swordsmen, and they're going to probably attack me any second now. Yep, that's what I thought. But I want to show you that if you click on these guys, you can see that they have bounties. So whenever I see someone in the distance, I check to see if they have a bounty on them. If you kill them and get them while they're alive, you can claim that bounty that the faction has on them. So orange one, I think you can take on this group, can't you? Come on. We're getting a little bit more beat up than I was planning on this, but you get the idea. So where is he? So this guy's dying actually. So it's good if you're gonna go bounty hunting to bring a first aid kit. Luckily I did. So this guy's not gonna die anymore. But I'm not gonna waste any more of my first aid kit on him. So let's just go ahead and pick him up, and we'll take him into Shobutai because we're right by it. And then I'll show you how you sell a bounty. This is, for at least when I was playing this game a while ago, a very reliable way of making money. If you've got a crew of people that you're training up to get fighting, you might as well bring in some bounties. If you've got someone with a heavy weapon and you want to train their strength, you can have them carry your bounties. It's a nice way of getting a little bit more cash. Let's see, where's the police station in here? Right there. Okay, so if I bring this guy with a bounty on them down here, and I talk to this guy right here with the bubble, I can tell him to take the guy that I've got the bounty on, and I got the full bounty. If the guy was actually dead, I would have only gotten half of it. So you do want to bring some first aid kits in case that happens. So I mean, with bounty hunting, you can do it two ways. You can either fight them and take it, which I think is legit, or you can use assassination and take them out, which kind of is an exploit because you don't have to fight a whole group. You just knock them out. It's kind of nice and easy. But yeah, this has been my my tips on how to make some cash in the early mid game. Once you get to the late game, it's super easy. You just get some people set up, have them do their thing, and you're gonna have hundreds of thousands of cats. Thank you for joining me. This has been Orange One.